What is going on, Comic Fam? Welcome to the Legion of Comics at Weeks in the spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics and so much more. We appreciate you hopping in for this special time tonight. We're starting a little bit early to get the ball rolling, so let's just jump right into it. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the co-host, the other legs of the tripod. We've got none other than Ryan, a.k.a. New Guy, a.k.a. the Cosmic Campfire, a.k.a. the Fuzzy Face in the Orange Circle. What is happening?
What is up, man?
Nothing much. You need more aliases. I've been thinking about
right.
You don't have enough aliases.
I'm just excited to be out here in the nice outdoors of Houston, one of the few nice days we have, so...
Let's talk some comics here today. Yeah. So let's bring in the other leg of the tripod, my heterosexual life partner from the Great White North, #coined. What is going on, Chris?
I don't think there are any more aliases that we can come up with, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
He has to do new stuff first.
Yeah, that's it. The Houston Madman? No. What else do we use?
That title might be taken. We need to check on that.
The man who eats well in Houston? Ryan eats well.
So let's go ahead and thank the sponsors real quick. Huge shout out to Big Time Collectibles. They sponsor the monthly Legion League giveaway for the channel members. If you want to know how to enter to win that, hit that blue join button down below and just read about the channel membership programs and if it's something that might interest you. Also, if you need anything cleaned or pressed, hit up our boy Justin Comic over on Instagram. If you use that promo code We Are Legion, or just let him know that you found him via the channel, he'll hook you up with the special promo offer he's got running currently. And those promos do change over time and everything. So who knows what he's got going on? Hit him up and find out. But yeah, we are 30-ish minutes early. Yes, we are. Yeah, we just started right now. We were all just sitting here. We're all just sitting here waiting on the clock to tick. We're like, let's just go ahead and go live. Let's go ahead and go live. So I'm going to let Chris show off what he picked up real quick, just so I can go make this kid some water.
Sure.
You tell him, hey, you're just going to wave.
I'm going to tell him, hey. Hello, how are you today, Mike?
Good.
All right, get you on.
Bye-bye, Mike.
All right. Are you Mike? You're Mike. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Just to let you know, I'm actually the reason that it's actually starting at 8:30. These guys wanted to start earlier, truth be told, and I'm like, I'm still reading because I want to have it fresh. Like I read a little bit through the last few days, and then I reread just to get it fresh for tonight's show. But Ryan's like, yeah, let's go, and it was like 5 to 8. Like, no, but they did want to start earlier. I picked up from Boom Studios the return of the House of Slaughter issue 6. This is a brand new arc, brand new characters, a little bit of specky spec if you want to go that route. It's totally now going into the Scarlet Mask room. Also picked up issue 1 of Savage Avengers. It has Cloak and Dagger and kind of reminds me of my youth. This is I believe, only the second time in my life. Maybe Mark and can say he's seen it more, but this is only the second time in my life where I've seen DC pay homage to a Marvel title. It was only a couple months ago when I saw it for the first time, but this is Shadow War Zone paying homage to Days of Future Past from the Uncanny X-Men, that John Byrne cover from the early 80s. Went and got Jenny Friesen's variant cover for Catwoman 43. And everyone
Nice.
everyone knows how I feel about Friesen's work.
On a related note, real quick, they're about to be doing, like the 4 X-Men covers, the Jim Lee connecting covers for X-Men 1.
Yeah.
They're about to be doing that for Deceased Volume 3. I thought that was interesting. I think Dan Moore is going to cover.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
I guess there's more of those Marvel homages on the horizon.
I'm glad to see that they're starting to open up their idea of thoughts. Okay.
Copying people.
Thor 25. I don't really want to talk about Donny Cates' Marvel stuff tonight. We'll see. I picked up this beautiful Arthur Adams variant of Han Solo and Chewbacca number 2. And all I had to do was just look at the eyes, and I knew that it was Arthur Adams' work. And whenever I see an Arthur Adams cover, I try to pick it up. And I decided to give Steve Niles issue 2 of A Town Called Terror a go. I thought issue number 1 was okay. Kind of had a Frankenstein meets Dracula kind of vibe to it, but it was a very, very dark comic book. And I don't mean just the plot itself. It was just...
Shots fired already.
That's... flow. Just very visually a very dark comic book to look at, the first issue. So I haven't gotten through this one, but I am excited to check it out. That's it. A little bit of a lighter week for me. I think that's only 7 issues.
So it was a small week for me as well. Got this. I forgot that they're even still making any of those. Trying to get rid of all the other ones I have. This was amazing. This was this week, right? World's Finest number 3. The weakest issue of the 3 so far, but that still has it probably at my rate of the week. Flash 782, which was fun. I like the direction Flash is going in. I picked up Thor 25 because that's the crossover tie-in with the Banner of War stuff. Power Rangers 19 that I'm so not excited about the Power Rangers half of the stuff I haven't even read yet. I also read Duo, which is, I think it's a Milestone imprint. And,
no, it's Earth Prime Ilm or something like that.
It's like
they definitely give the impression that it's a Milestone book, but once you really pay attention to what it says on there, it actually isn't.
That's like this saying not Milestone. But I read this from last week as well, the Sumerian Hour of the Dragon, which was part 3 of that. And man, I feel like I read another book or 2 digital, but it might come to me throughout the show. But it was the smallest week I've had in a while.
Yeah, I had a pretty small week this week as well. I read Batman Superman World's Finest number 3. No secret there, definitely my read of the week. Duo number 1 I read, I read it because I thought that it said it was a Milestone book, but once you read a little bit closer, it actually says not a Milestone book. So
the cover on it says Beyond the Milestone Universe or something. It has Milestone on the cover. I'm like,
yeah, but then once you open it, on the title page, instead of that banner, it says for fans of the DC universe and the Milestone universe, a whole new universe, Earth Ilm Prime or something like that. Odd. Yeah, it's really deceptive the way they marketed it, and I regret reading it. Kaiju Score, Steal from the Gods number 2, Nightwing 92, and Savage Avengers number 1. So pretty small week, but there was some good stuff in here that I really enjoyed.
Nice. I don't know if y'all want to dive into reviews or if you got any news or stuff you want to talk about. I do want to go over the Eisner Awards stuff a little bit because that was kind of a lot of cool information that came out this week. It actually earned the thumbnail. So for those that saw the thumbnail, all those books pictured on the thumbnail are Eisner nominated books, whether it be for the art, the storytelling, whatever, for varying different degrees. And all of the books on the thumbnail are books that we heavily have pushed on this show. So I thought it'd be cool to speak on those a little bit. And yes, Something is Killing the Children is on there. And though I'm not a big fan of it, Chris has not failed to review them in detail and share not just how much he enjoys it, but actually share them back out with the community. He's gone to great lengths to get a lot of books because he knows how many people like them and use them in countless giveaways at this point. And he pushes that book like I push stuff that I'm diehard on. So there's some really cool stuff on there.
Mhm.
Ryan, you got any of that information in front of you about? There's like, I mean, it's like the Oscars. There's some stuff like you won't even know even exists on there, but there's some bigger categories as well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tap through the highlights and then some stuff that we know of that stands out. Because, like you said, there's a very extensive list. In fact, I'll drop the link over here for the article I pulled up. It's Gizmodo, but you know, they do a pretty extensive list of everything that's in there. So I think like the interesting preamble that they offer up is one, how big of a deal the Eisners are. This is basically the awards of the comic book industry. And what's interesting about it is DC and Image are leading the pack. So DC picked up 15 nominations, whereas Image picked up 14. And then the other big thing to mention out of all of that, and this might feel a little bit vindictive, but let's see. Fantagraphics and IDW both got 11 nominations, and Viz Media picked up 8 nominations, while Marvel comes in basically 5th ranked with, what is it, something like 7 nominations. So, Marvel, big deal out of all the publishers as far as like name recognition, but to be the 5th highest in nominations is pretty interesting,
Pretty telling of the lack of decent storytelling. Let's be honest, like the franchise character that they've had. I know the two of you heard me echo it all of the last 6 months. The best Spider-Man story was a damn what if story. And it was just a continuation of something that happened in the very late 80s and early 90s.
Also,
And
to your point on the storytelling, even the Marvel books that are nominated, like Immortal Hulk is nominated for Rom V, yes, but you also have Alex Ross bringing in the nominations for cover artists. It's not always necessarily on the storytelling perspective. It's
right.
Marvel was a crap show at the show out for this year's Eisner Awards.
Yeah, the everyone panned on the Amazing Spider-Man while it was being helmed by Nick Spencer. Normally, story-driven comic books from Marvel, i.e., the Fantastic Four, were lacking in the last 12 months. X-Men, The Way of X, I know it was a definitely something that was an acquired taste. I know I jumped off immediately after reading it, and some people thoroughly enjoyed it. God bless them. But again, they deliver powerhouse covers, yes, but they seem to have, it's only because they have the master, Alex Ross. But yeah. All right, Ryan, let us have it, man.
All right, so for best short story, the one that stands out here is Generations by Daniel Warren Johnson. That was in Superman Red and Blue #5. And then there was also a story from the 80th anniversary Green Arrow anthology called Tap 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 by Larry O'Neill and Jorge Fornes. Everything else is kind of like Raina Telgemeier and stuff like that. So not too much that stands out to me there. Marvel Voices Identity #1 got nominated for Best Single Issue One Shot. Nightwing #87, Get Grayson, which I believe is the one that had no panels. It was all just like singular pages.
Yes.
Right. That was the flow, the flow book that we kind of fell in love with, right? Yeah.
Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons, and then best continuing series, Bitter Root made the list. And as much as I love the first 5 issues of Bitter Root, as well as the second 5 were really good, I thought this last run of 5 issues was a little bit lacking. So I can see continuing series, it works out. But at the end of the day, I'm a little surprised it's on the list for that 3rd run of books so far. Department of Truth by Tynan and Martin Simmons makes the list. Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing and Joe Bennett. Nightwing makes that list, and Something is Killing the Children. So pretty full list for us from Best Continuing Series. And then Best Limited Series, we get Beta Ray Bill, Argent Star by Daniel Warren Johnson. The Good Asian made the list. The Many Deaths of Layla Starr, let's see, Stray Dogs, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Shout out to Flo Dameron for helping get that nominated. That was a Tom King, Bill Quasevely book. And absolutely incredible, every single issue.
Strange. No, Human Target is also on the list for new short story, right, or new series or something.
I think, yeah, Best New Series, we have The Human Target by Tom King. Shout out to Flo on that one as well. With Greg Smallwood. Nice House on the Lake by James Tynan IV and Alvaro Martinez Bueno. Not All Robots, Radiant Black, and then Ultra Mega by James Horan. That was a phenomenal series that kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. I had almost no expectations for that, and I think it was Shattered Glass, Tyler, that put that on our radar, and that series turned out to be freaking phenomenal.
Which one?
Ultra Mega.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip Best Publications for Young Readers. I don't think any of that stuff appeals to any of us.
That was nuts.
Flo, I see you, man.
Really throwing you under the bus?
GOT is so
just
good, man.
I have no problem defending it.
My promotion of TK in his chat got those nominations. Yep.
I agree about Bitter Root. Also, we had to wait for an extremely long time for each issue to come out.
Yeah. Which, I mean, the other thing about Bitter Root, it was a little bit disappointing to hear the creative team on that. They don't seem to get along super well either. So a lot of split decisions. I think that's part of what happened with this third run of stories was they kind of couldn't agree on what direction it should go. And honestly, it shows. Like that first 5-issue run is just like top notch. Like they knew exactly what the mission was with that. The second one, they really took and kind of like leaned into another like spin-off theme of that, and it was really good. And then that third one, you can just tell they weren't really sure what else to do with it, or they couldn't agree on what the singular vision was for the third run, you know. But it's still a great series. I love those first two, or like the first 10 issues, you know. We got some more young reader stuff. Teenagers, I don't Wind by James Tynan. Picked up the nomination.
Creator-wise, he's got the most, right, by an individual creator?
I didn't see that listed at the top, but I wouldn't be surprised. I do know that Nightwing has the most, is the title with the most nominations. Yeah. Actually, I think it has 7.
It's up to 7 now? Good God.
Of the DC books, it should be Action Comics, but okay.
Yeah, Nightwing's doing really cool things. That's completely undeniable. But it's not doing... I don't know. It's just so self-contained. I don't know.
I mean, I like that about it. Yeah, I will say
it happens. It just doesn't really just it's just so subtle, but it is beautifully done. Like from the
I love it as a book, but I even actually wrote about this earlier. I think between that and Son of Kal-El, I do think I like Son of Kal-El better. I think it always has a moment that just like hits really hard. And Nightwing, while it's doing something unique in the Batman family universe, it doesn't necessarily have like a really strong moment in each book the same way. Although the art is just like absolutely fun and whimsical in the way they tell the story visually.
I know a guy with 3 Grim number 1s.
Best humor publication. Not All Robots, The Scumbag by Rick Remender. Thirsty Mermaids. Zombie,
which is ironic. How ironic there.
Let's see.
I don't think they're
Best
thirsty
Anthology,
for water.
The Silver Coin by Michael Walsh stands out, and Superman Red and Blue actually stands out. I generally skip over. I think I even tried to read the first Red and Blue issue and was not into it. I don't really care for those like, two-tone books and stuff like that usually. So that's pretty interesting that this one is making the list several times.
Just to expand on that, Superman Red and Blue, I didn't enjoy it that much. I dropped it. Batman
Neither
Black
one
and
of us
White.
got that.
Yeah, I picked up a couple. I thought of those DC types of book, I thought Wonder Woman had the best ones with black and gold. Actually, like I have issue 5 right beside me.
Like, I don't know if he said this jokingly, but I think that issue 3 should have been nominated for best that best single issue of a comic.
Single issue, one shot.
It should have been at least nominated. Like it could stand on its own. Man, it was good. That Superman Red and Blue short story, because that is an anthology book. You get 4 or 5 little 8-page stories inside of it. And Danny Warren Johnson's was in issue 5 or something like that. I think it was after I had dropped it as well. I got John Ridley like right in the face. I didn't see it coming. I'm like,
yeah, he's something else.
Pretty good.
Let's see. Best graphic novel. Destroy All Monsters, a Reckless book.
Like the Godzilla movie?
No.
Oh.
Let's see.
There's a lot of this stuff on here. Like when I was reading through, I'm like, oh wow, there's so much of this. Just like with the Oscars, like the year years ago, some independent foreign film, Parasite or something won. I'm like, I've never heard of that.
It's actually a very deep film, even
with its comedy.
With its cinematography, it was actually very deep as well. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, best U.S. edition of International Material, Chainsaw Man.
How was that? I submit Captain Canuck for the Americans admitting their own.
They're just making stuff up now. Mostly joking, but Ecstatic Fortnite is back with another series, this time on Marvel coming up along with many variant covers on other series leading up to it. I'm a comic heaven. Yeah, I saw where there's a Marvel's doing the Fortnite crossover thing now as well. I'm glad that I'm not going to pick that one up and read it. I was happy. I was legitimately happy with the DC one. I enjoyed it, and that was enough for me. So I am reading through these noms, and I have a question of why IDW and Taschan, I don't know, Chris?
Taschan?
Get credit over Marvel for putting out reprints of old Marvel stuff. If you count reprints of Spidey and Fury, they got 11. I don't know.
Interesting. But I've never, back to the best U.S. edition of International Material, Asia, so it sounds like there might even be specific continents they're nominating from. But this Chainsaw Man manga, like I hear so much about it because it's like damn near impossible to get your hands on. Apparently, it's selling so fast and so hard on top of the paper shortages. Like it's like one of the most sought after mangas right now. So, not surprised to see that on the list. And Spy X Family is also really hot right now. Best archival Popeye. EC cover artist edition. That's pretty cool. Steranko's Nick Fury. Best writer. Ed Brubaker, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Felipe Melo, Ram V, the mini Desalela star right there. Boom. The Swamp Thing, yes. Carnage, I haven't read any of his Carnage or
so Ram got three different titles he worked on.
Right. What did Brubaker get nominated for?
Ed Brubaker got nominated for that Destroy All Monsters and Friend of the Devil as for best writer.
I didn't know any of those titles. Okay.
There's a manga about Remy Q. Exactly.
It's pretty good, Paul. It's pretty good.
Yeah, we started a little early tonight, man. We're just taking it slow, just hanging out, looking at these Eisner Award nominations from this year.
If you go by titles, though, James Tynion got nominated for Best Writer for House of Slaughter, Something is Killing the Children, Win, Nice House on the Lake, The Joker, Batman, DC Pride 2021, Department of Truth, Blue Book, and Razor Blades. So, title count, he should technically win, I guess. But Ron V all the way, man. Like, I've loved everything he did last year.
So Al Ewing didn't get nominated for the Immortal Hulk?
I don't see it, no.
No, for Best Writer? Okay.
Best Writer.
I was going to say, I think Immortal Hulk got a Best Ongoing Series nomination, as well as a nom for Alex Ross's cover work on it. But there's a laundry list of books attached to Alex Ross's cover work.
Right, Captain America comes to mind as well. He did beautiful work for that series that just
Steranko Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Artisan Edition, edited by Scott Dumbier, IDW. Makes no sense to me how Marvel doesn't get credit for that.
I guess it's based on.
Have you looked up what the book is, though? Like, it might not actually be like, because I did see a lot of like those like collections that aren't necessarily actually reprints of the book, but talking on
more
the
like
book.
a graphic history.
Like it's special features to the movie, separate from the movie kind of thing.
I was just thinking maybe it was non-published work.
I don't know.
Yes, 100% Ron V over Tynan. I think that is a preference thing. But I will tell you, like, I absolutely loved everything he did on Catwoman. Swamp Thing is absolutely phenomenal. The Many Deaths of Layla Starr is probably going to be a completely underrated book by most people. But I really loved that one. I haven't read any of his Venom or Carnage stuff, so I couldn't tell you on that. I would not fault anybody for voting for James Tynion. I mean, I just read off like his list of credits, and the problem with Tynion is a lot of that stuff that I read off like kind of misses for me. I think the Department of Truth is really unique in the comics realm, but also I think a big part of that is because of the artwork by Martin Simmons. Not that the material that Tynion is contributing isn't worth it. I think Nice House on the Lake is one of the best books being published right now. House of Slaughter, I didn't really care that much for. Something is Killing the Children kind of lost its way with me. Wind, I didn't really get into. It was a little bit young of an audience.
This is not okay. So it is not. It's not a reprint of the actual stories. It's a collection. The guy Scott, whatever his name is, Dunbier, is setting out to try to get as much of Steranko's original art as he can in his hands to scan it to be able to include it and stuff and all that. And this is a collection of the Nick Fury stuff that'll have letters, pages, scans of art that he's gotten his hands on, conversation and dialogue on all the art and the letters that he's including. So he's just collecting all kinds of stuff about Steranko from his time and work on Nick Fury into a book that he's then adding his stuff to. So that's why, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like Brother John says right there, it's just because they're the ones that actually put out the book itself, regardless
you're not reading a comic when you buy it at all. It's not a comic book.
Best Writer Artist, Daniel Warren Johnson did get nominated there. They mentioned Superman Red and Blue and Beta Ray Bill. Best Penciler, Felipe Andrade he was on Many Deaths of Layla Starr. I really like that artwork. I don't think that he necessarily can take the cake for the year, though. Bruno Redondo, though, I'd give it to him for Nightwing. I love the way he there's like a very whimsical nature to how he does things, from like whenever he points or whatever, it's like with two fingers, there's like this weird thing he does. The way that they do like the little IKEA style instructions with like how Nightwing like puts together his staff and all that. I think there's something really cool. Not only do his pencils look good, but there's this like very whimsical nature to it all that makes it fun to read. Let's see. I don't recognize any of the other artists. Phil Jimenez for Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons.
Mm-hmm.
Best Painter Multimedia Artist. Let's see. I don't see anything that stands out as stuff we've talked about.
Multimedia artist, though.
Yeah. What about what's his face from
Hey, you with
the
the
fill-in
face.
artist on Batcat, and he
Oh
did
man,
the
you're
Clayman?
Liam Sharp, the fill-in. He
Shark.
did 3
Yeah,
issues while
Okay.
Clayman was off. He's
yeah,
on
he's a
there.
multimedia artist.
Oh, cool.
No, he's not on there. I'm kind of surprised because he did that other one with Garth Ennis. He did that book, and that uses like pencils and paints and like graphite material and stuff, charcoal. And then he also did those fill-in issues on Batcat. I'm pretty sure he incorporated multimedia into those as well.
I don't know the legality of it, Becker, but I guess it's something like this. This is not DC. This is not authorized by DC. They talk on and use the characters of DC in their own way and style somehow or another, and they don't get sued for doing it. I don't know how they do it, but there's a way to do it. Apparently, I don't know.
Lawyer up.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you can make a Spider Dash Man book, but I think you could probably get away with Spider No Dash Man.
Spider-Man.
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 All credit to Michael, though. All credit to Michael. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Oh, that was best cover artist, Jen Bartel. Well, shout out to her. Like, she does some amazing work on her Substack. Like, I love what she puts out there. Let's see, Bruno Redondo for Nightwing. That's probably a good nomination as well. I love those covers. The way they incorporate the Nightwing logo has been impressive with every single one of them. Alex Ross, I mean, don't even have to mention that.
It's wrapped up
And then
already.
I don't recognize these other two names. Best coloring, Felipe Andrade for Many Deaths of Layla Starr. Terry Dodson for Adventure Man. That book is one that really stands out for the artwork as well. But I kind of fell off of it because of such a random, weird schedule. Like, they did 4 issues and then just like took a 4-month break or something, and then came back and did the last issue of the arc. Like, just straight, like, left a huge gap to end the story arc, and then they've recently come back and done like another 3 issues or something, but they're like on a random printing schedule. It's Matt Fraction and Terry Dodson on that one. It's a beautiful book. I really want to read the whole thing because I really enjoyed it, but that schedule just, I couldn't keep up with what they were even trying to do with all that. Jacob Phillips for Destroy All Monsters and Friend of the Devil. Again, we're still on best coloring. And Matt Wilson for Undiscovered Country, Firepower, Eternals, Thor, Wolverine, Jonna and the Impossible Monsters. Best lettering, Wes Abbott, Future State, Nightwing, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Black and Gold, Clayton Cowles for The Amazons, Batman, Batcat, Strange Adventures, Wonder Woman, blah, blah, blah. Pretty much everything.
Becker said you should try it, Ryan, and he'll use an egg timer for when you get the cease and desist.
You probably just count on your fingers by the second how long it takes. Letters here.
Firepower.
Ed Dukeshire, we're still on lettering. Ed Dukeshire, Once in Future and 7 Secrets. Barry Windsor Smith, popular name. You know what? For lettering, I'm a little disappointed to not see what's his name? Aditya Bidikar for like Department of Truth, and like pretty much every other book that is good.
Poetry Slam.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't do some poetry slam.
I really like Aditya Bidikar. He does a lot of like unique stuff, so I'm surprised to not see him nominated for letters. Best comics related periodical journalism. Nothing really stands out for me there. Best comics related book. All of the Marvels, The Art of Tie comics, Fantastic Four #1 panel by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Chip Kidd, and Geoff Spear from Abrams Comic Arts. I bet Beckerman's going to have a problem with that. Old
Here we
Gods.
go.
And
Here we go. Here's the meat and potatoes of this whole Steranko debacle with IDW. I just finished looking up the 3 Chris
Tashawn.
books, and it's an international publisher that pays Marvel to do the best of Stan/Ditko stuff for Spidey. So by
Okay, so
paying
they
Marvel,
license it.
Marvel just they license it from Marvel. So that's like saying, why doesn't Robert E. Howard get credit for Marvel's Conan books? Because they're paying to use it, and they're now doing the work and getting credit for it. So yeah, that makes perfect sense at that point. What is going on? Kenneth Bird is up in here. Burt Family 54 popped in as well. Hey to you guys.
comics related work. True Believer is listed on there. The Rise and Fall of Stan Lee. I remember hearing about this on Comic Book Club Live. It sounds like a really interesting book. He got about as close as anybody's gotten in years to Stan Lee and all of his estate and stuff, and really got a lot of like real stories out of it. It sounds like there's not like a ton of revelation. It's just like so well organized that it really tells the story of who Stan Lee was and how he became the titan of industry that he is or was, I guess. But so that's supposed to be a pretty good book, so I'm not surprised to see it on the nomination list. Academic scholarly work, nothing here that I recognize. Best publication design, The Complete American Gods, The Complete Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck Deluxe Edition, interesting. Crash Pad, Machine Gun Kelly, Marvel Comics Library, Spider-Man, Popeye. Best webcomic, Batman Wayne Family Adventures on Webtoon. Lore Olympus on Webtoon. I've heard so much about that series. I really need to look into it. Best digital comic. I don't recognize any of those. Oh, Snow Angels by Jeff Lemire. Comixology original. And that looks like the end of the list that Gizmodo has offered here. So that was a pretty in-depth dive.
So again, Ryan, the comics of the year. Who are the nominations one more time?
Oh crap! Did I see a best comics of the year?
Or I guess best ongoing.
Let's see. Best ongoing.
I have that too, Hefe. It's called Excelsior, I believe.
Mike, are you talking about Stan Lee?
Finn won his first wrestling match.
Page.
He did it by himself.
He won it against you?
No, against the game. I'm
Let's
proud of
see.
him. Turn your trash away.
You threw it away.
Sorry. So it happens when we start early. The house is still alive.
The kids are asleep.
She's very excited. She's very excited.
That probably is never wrong.
And we may wrap up so Mark.
Trash everywhere.
No, that was yesterday, but thanks though.
I think
Let's see.
Roy Thomas claims that a guy is a slug who misled him and misquoted him.
I was just saying, are you talking about Stan? Is he talking about Stan?
I guess
Best
I guess
ongoing.
the question. Best continuing series.
Sure.
So best continuing series was Bitterroot, The Department of Truth, Immortal Hulk, Nightwing, and Something is Killing the Children.
Okay.
He said Roy hates the guy that wrote that Excelsior book. He's given a ton of interviews about it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're thinking of the hardback or the actual biography. There's a graphic novel version. It's like it's a comic book, graphic novel autobiography. It's a lot more intentionally lighthearted. But I think this is a different Excelsior book because that was the name of the biography that came out. I think either just shortly before he passed away or not long after he passed away. One of the two.
Well, his wife came in very excited, so I thought it'd be like, okay. Well,
She's excited to go take a bath without the kids.
Kids are in bed.
Oh, yeah.
We are Legion. Good night.
Yeah, she's on the way to take a bath without the kids trying to jump in there fully dressed. What is going on, Lucretius? You let her have an energy drink, didn't you? That's exactly how Liz likes an energy drink.
Bouncing around the house.
Yeah, but the hardback is what Ryan was talking about. It got nominated for an Eisner. Eesh.
So,
Eesh.
just to talk about the best ongoing that Ryan spoke about there, obviously being a Marvel fan, I'm pulling for the Immortal Hulk, and Something is Killing the Children is probably my favorite series, that in DC versus Vampires. But truth be told, Department of Truth should probably win of all the books that are in that category, especially for the whole Bigfoot arc that was done. That was
beautiful, yeah.
that was just incredible writing, and the fact that we talked about the family and the generations after the man that claims to saw Bigfoot, their lives were ruined because of the fact that he made the claim. That's just exceptional storytelling.
Yeah, I think that it's I don't know, it can be too big for its britches to be like a general audience style book, though, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think that speaks to its quality one way or the other, but I think that could hold it back from things like award. I don't know, but these awards seem to not really ignore the little guy. There is a Best American International Ship from Antarctica category, so they really don't ignore anything.
They are pumping out great stories from Antarctica if you only knew the language properly. So I'm glad that they Americanize it for those of us in North America.
I wouldn't
quality category.
OGs don't argue; they do both. So just get them both signed, Hefe.
Department of Truth is an autobiography on life, and I love it.
Yeah. Which is why I mentioned that Roy and a few others like John Bullerjack say Dude is a liar. They would probably know better than Dude. I imagine they knew him really close, especially Roy.
And then, just to like really pile on here, the only news that I can think of that dropped this week is that we are getting another Tom King one shot.
Oh man.
Yes, facts.
Yeah, I've got a few things on here. When I first put this on here, I put a little notes down in here of things. I always forget, but at the time it was just that Nightwing had 5 nominations. Human Target and Supergirl got nominated. Like I saw those before I went and ended up looking at the list. Something about Secret Invasion got teased this week by Sam Jackson somewhere at something. So they teased it. That's going to be in the works with the MCU stuff.
Well, that was announced a couple of years ago, I thought.
No, I mean like
D23.
They haven't like officially announced it at all yet, have they? It's just something. It's kind of like having 3
like
Spider-Man.
Insinuated.
Yeah, you know what's coming, but they haven't done official official announcements they do.
I thought Feige announced that the same speech that he announced the Fantastic Four was going to be in the works, and that the mutants were coming as well, but we were still quite a ways away from them.
Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe it just made a headline because it's getting closer or something, and they brought Sam Jackson in to be the one to tease it and stuff because he's got to be involved with it, with the whole scroll and all that. Him not even being on Earth.
Scroll pre-war.
Yeah, he hasn't even been on Earth for the entirety of the MCU timeline. He's been off planet.
Easy.
Well, and in all honesty, it's not the first time I've seen a news headline of the week be something that we were already told, just like in a not official announcement capacity, just by an official person.
Yeah, this was
like Kevin Feige said it, but it didn't actually count because he wasn't standing on a stage when he said it.
Oh yeah.
He did say it on his stage, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, a couple more MCU things that to mention. If you're looking for a job and you're in the area wherever they're filming Echo, they'll pay you $135 a day to be a cast member, an extra, and they got a sandwich for you. So that's in the offer.
Craft services.
Yeah, $135 in a sandwich. What's up? You want to be an Echo or not? So be sure to look that up if you have any desire to. Lastly, from the MCU, the She-Hulk trailer dropped this week.
Oh, yeah. I heard about this.
You didn't watch it? I know you're not a trailers guy.
Hasn't even crossed my radar.
Well, Chris hasn't shut up about it since he watched it. He's been blowing up my inbox. All he's been
I can
talking
tell you, I
about-
do know there is
Wow,
one
Marcus
movie
is
in
about
the
is the
trailer
She-Hulk
because Jen
trailer
Bartel
Tired, man.
and
Did a-
Ghostmaker. That's all I hear from this guy. She-Hulk and Ghostmaker.
Wow. Yeah. And Mark quietly texts me all the time. I can't believe what's happening to Erica Slaughter. I don't like it. I love her so much. But anyway, and her eyes are beautiful. But
They're glowing.
no, I thought the
It's
trailer.
hard
I thought
not to tell they're beautiful. That's all
it-
you can see on the panel.
which you know,
Her and Alita Battle Angel are like buddies.
Well, Della
Hey,
Dare does
America.
a
Walking
good
around
job.
seeing everything.
Della Dare does a good job with her eyes.
Yeah, America.
I thought it was.
It looked on brand. Just
Yeah,
mean,
it's, they went out and got themselves like I'm not saying this because she's Canadian, but they went out and got themselves a powerhouse actress. And for those of you who don't know Tatiana Maslany, she's won numerous awards for her sci-fi series that she did a couple of years ago. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that it's a nice rebound from the last offering with Moon Knight. But it seems like this one's going to have a little bit more comedy to it. Kind of seems like they're going to be going down the road where they're going to develop some sort of team of lawyers for superheroes for whatever reason. I guess they're going to explore that. We did get to see Damage Inc. a little bit in the first Spider-Man movie. So we'll see if they...
Joe summed it up in a video, as well as his take wasn't far off from my initial take that we were talking about in some of the group chats. Is I took it as
Orphan
like
Black.
they're going,
Thank you, Hefe.
they're going straight like Sex and the City vibe with it. Where I read the first 2 issues of the current She-Hulk run that I guess like it's more the style of kind of that. It's definitely like a chick flick. It's like Sex in the City. Like her and the girlfriend's going out drinking, speed dating, trying to bed some dudes, complimenting each other's ass. And somewhere along in there, I hope that there's some fun Hulk stuff. My only hope for this series. I got no hopes for it. I have no expectations. I really don't care too much, but the Hulk is in it. And the Hulk's been a crap show for years now in the MCU, an absolute crap show. So I'm hoping that they're done with this stupid era of Hulk, and somewhere in the show, something happens, and he goes back to being the Hulk, and then goes off, and that means the next time. That means the next time we see him after this show, we can have him back. We can get smashing and get to some cool stuff. But that's what I'm hoping for. I could care less about the She-Hulk stuff. I'm going to watch it. I hope it'll be fun. I have no expectations or ties to the character. So as long as they tell a good story, I'm in. Like that's what went wrong with Moon Knight. I have no ties to the character at all. They were incapable of telling a good story through there, so it wasn't even entertaining for me. But we'll see. I'm not a big fan of Sex and the City. Never got down on Ally McBeal, so this will be my first time watching any of those. We'll see how it goes. I let my 14-year-old daughter watch the trailer, and
I'll tell you what I am looking forward to, just to change the gears on this a little bit, is Obi-Wan that's coming out this week.
That starts this week.
Yeah, Obi-Wan drops Friday. I'm looking forward to it. I know that a lot of guys are just joking. Yeah, it's an old man staring at some young kid or whatever. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing the return of Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader. I'm looking forward to seeing, the Vader court out there just doing what they do best, trying to hunt down Obi-Wan and eliminate the rest of the Jedi that survive Order 66. I'm looking forward to it.
They got me with the trailer. That music and like that was a well put together trailer. I'm not saying that I have faith in them. The majority of the Disney Star Wars stuff has been utter garbage, with a rare couple exceptions. But I'm hoping it delivers, man. I really am. Like I said, the trailers got me hyped.
Yeah, well, it's really got nowhere to go but up from their last offer. But yeah, I think Johnny Boy said it best. Stranger Things 4 drops as well, and I believe Netflix is actually cutting the season of Stranger Things 4 into 2 halves. So yeah,
we're already past the 3 season thing that they do, right?
Yeah.
So that means it's still performing pretty well for them to go for a fourth.
Right. Yeah. See how it goes. Yeah. Stranger Things is good.
I still haven't watched past like season 2, episode 3.
Okay.
I watched the first one as it came out, loved it. And by the time I got around to the second one, I'm like, I just don't care.
Let's see. Hefe, you remember it's who else wants a Jar Jar Binks? So it's like in the end, he became a politician. It could be fascinating. It could be
It would be
Jar Jar Binks up for re-election. Like that could be fascinating to watch.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
like Gomer
Fascinating to
Pyle's.
watch. Him and those ETs like just bouncing. That'd be just terrific.
Miso once again asking for use of help.
Thank you, everyone. Good night. We are Legion.
In his little Bernie Sanders jacket. We got a new member. What is up?
Ooh.
Definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the Legion. Yeah, dude, that would be hilarious. Just the amount, if they ever do anything with Jar Jar again in the social media era, just think of how the field day, because Jar Jar happened before social media.
Yes.
Jar Jar was done before social media.
Oh
Man,
yeah.
the field day.
He would have been like memed and roasted to death within like the first week of the release of that movie.
Yeah. Imagine how much that would have changed those movies afterwards.
Yeah. I'm definitely pumped for it.
Lisa, watch your bowl, betcha.
Yeah, Alan Rue's coming for that title, Cole. I don't know if you saw our very own channel member and amazing friend and Augusta native here, Alan Rue, put up his first video just kind of sharing in his collecting journey and his love of the hobby. And my man had a tight tuck behind him too now. Tight tuck back there, Ryan.
Georgia versus Texas. Boom.
We need some Darth Jar Jar. Y'all, I know y'all have heard that fan theory that Jar Jar could be a Sith. Like, I mean, it's just a fun theory that someone like just kind of playing connect the dots.
Jar Jar.
Yeah.
It's mostly just in defense of him.
Jar Jar's on Twitter.
Lisa wants you to re-elect me.
And real quick, Gabriel, if you're on Instagram, look me up and direct message me, por favor. I like to send out welcome packets to the members and everything. Got some cool stickers and pins and all that. I really appreciate the support and the membership. And I can't thank you enough. So I send welcome packets.
There's welcome packets? What?
Shut up, Ryan.
What's day one, bro? Day one.
You got your welcome packet. Don't even play.
Deserve welcome packet.
Jar Jar is behind Department of Truth, the Dice House on the Lake.
Yeah,
That's what the Bigfoot arc was actually about.
Yeah.
Hunting Jar Jar.
There are perks too. Yeah, Beckerman always is complaining about perks. So today I actually sent him a 1-of-1 perk. Nobody else has the perk but Beckerman. It has nothing to do with the channel, but I just wanted to do something nice
discriminatory at all
for Beckerman. No, it's discrimination.
Unsubscribe button.
All welcome packets include one CGC 9.8. Not necessarily, but being a channel member definitely gets you in the running to be entered into numerous giveaways that non-channel members are not entered into throughout the time on the channel that include slabs and all kinds of other stuff. And it's sponsored by Big Top Collectibles. So there's some cool variants in there as well. Locked in on Marvel Snap. Yeah, what else is there? There's really not a lot of books to talk tonight, man. I read World's Finest. It was worth talking about, and there wasn't really much that went on in there. There's just Ryan mentioned earlier how like in Action Comics, I know in Superman Son of Kal-El, there's always a moment in every one of them. Every issue, there's a moment you're just like, dang. And the last, are you current, Ryan?
Yes, sir.
So the last issue, it was when Batman was talking to Jonathan Kent, to Paul Kent, trying to figure out what to do about the fact that John and Jay working for who he works for and where he comes from. And finally, Paul, in his infinite wisdom, just calm as can be, he's like, one of us is raised as a Superman, and kind of just has this moment where he's not being rude. He's not trying to step on his toes. He's just pointing out, like, we don't have powers. We're not out there fighting, but we know what we're doing when it comes to raising these Supermen, not necessarily Superman, but raising a man, raising a good man. You have to give him the rope to make the decisions for himself, and you can trust him to correct it. It was just a moment. It was really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris,
this-
you have marks a lot. What more do you need for a perk? That's valid.
I have no response. There's no.
But a
comment
moment
to
like that happened in World's Finest #3. The last issue ended up where Batman and Superman with young Billy Batson are in literal hell, and that's where they left us hanging, surrounded by demons and monsters and likes of them. And this one starts off right there, and Batman's trying to fight him, and Billy's freaking out, and finally he yells like for Superman to help, and Superman's just standing there. He's like, "What are you doing? Why are you just standing there?" And Superman goes, "Shh." And he just stands quiet and listens, and then boom, just targets on Felix Faust. He's like, there's no way that like this is it was just like, wow. Like just like in the craziness and everything, he's just standing there calm, taking the hits, just listening through all of it to find what he's looking for. And he was like, dude, that was super. It was just
There's always a better way, man. Like,
yeah, there's always a better
on
way.
character.
Yeah, and the way that Dan Mora did the art for it, it kind of like comes up close on Superman's face in that moment. He's like, shh. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I was like, where is this going? Like,
Yeah.
I was looking at those panels like over and over again. Like, I'm not quite sure what we're supposed to be taking from this. And then once it actually happens, I was like, oh.
He's just standing there, like not doing nothing. And Batman's yelling and screaming, and he's like, shh. And he just closes his eyes and then takes off. Grabs a battering ring, chunks it, and nails Felix right in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Then he goes
And not
and
even a
takes
killing
out-
blow. Look at that.
Yeah, it takes out, cauterizes the rune immediately. Like, what?
Right?
Boom! Yes, it is. Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yes, it is.
They got the characters in the wrong way, though.
I agree. I 100% agree. And they started that before this one, the most recent run was just Batman, Superman. Before that, it was Superman, Batman. Since they've been doing these team up books, they've called them Superman, Batman since like 2001 or something like that when they started doing them. I mean, we've had World's Finest by itself before, but the most
Probably an
recent one,
alphabetical thing.
I don't know. I think it's that Batman's just pulling in more heat these days, so they're wondering if people catch his name first on the title. But I don't even see it. I see it's just World's Finest. But man, it's amazing.
Yeah, because I was reading Batman, Superman, and it was great. But World's Finest, like, it's just
Woo.
World's Finest to me. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, I really enjoyed this issue. I like the way that they're kind of like slow burning Neza, and the stuff we got with Robin and Kara, was great as well. It
Oh yeah, they finally just had to give up the fight.
yeah. Well, I loved how they kind of like, in the last issue we just got like these two characters and like their connection to each other, but in this issue we kind of got like the contrasting difference and how like, Supergirl's there, she's ready to just like ground and pound, and Robin's like playing it smart, what's going on here, and like, let's give up this fight and let them know like we come in peace. They're like, well, you come in peace, but like you have a sword. He's like, oh yeah, get rid of the sword. Get rid of the sword.
Yeah, it kind of plays back to the whole front of the book with Superman, and you mentioned there's always a better way. They were trying to talk their way out of it. They were trying to fight their way out of it, and finally they just had to submit to win.
Mm-hmm.
Like submission doesn't always mean losing. Like there's levels to that stuff.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like that they're kind of like slow burning Neza, and like you know his presence and his intimidation, and like it makes him interesting. He's not like some boring like background thing. Like I'm ready to, like they're really building up the level of fear that he has over the whole universe at this point. Like even Batman and Superman are like, shoot, like what do we do? And it's kind of a problem in the modern era of comics. It really stands out if you with the MCU stuff especially. But in general, comics have gotten really good at exploring the heroes, and they kind of just like build a lot of paper thin villains to just kind of like create a plot to progress through. And so I really like how they're playing Neza, because like he's actually intimidating and fear mongering our heroes for once in a while, you know.
Like a reveal of him too, because like kind of just to the story plot, you know, we have Supergirl and Robin in the past trying to touch base with this group of warriors that battled him the last time thousands of years ago and were able to overcome the challenge, and they're trying to get some insight on what to do. And in the present, Batman and Superman, now having taken out Felix Faust, who's just being controlled by him, are running into obstacles everywhere. They see that Wonder Woman's already been taken out by one of her rogues. Flash was taken out by Mirror Master. They're getting attacked by somebody in Green Lantern shows up, and they're happy to see Hal is there, but he's been taken over by him as well. And they're like wondering, how is he tapping into all of this and finding our greatest weaknesses? And it cuts to the Batcave with Batman trying to talk to Alfred to try to catch up on events, and Alfred's telling him exactly what Batman wants to hear. But Neza has his hand on Alfred's shoulder using the Bat computer to orchestrate all of this, and that's where it leaves us. So it's kind of like the whole Tower of Babel thing. Like he's already dialed into the most dangerous set of data that he can get his hands on to take out the entire stable of heroes on this planet. It was pretty big level stuff. Like they're coming out of the gate swinging with this series. It's really fun.
Yeah.
But real quick, Ryan, I do want to say, while we have 18 people in here, do you want to
let's
drop
do
an
this.
update while we have that? So for those that don't know, Ryan has started focusing more on his writing again and everything. And last week he went ahead and announced to everybody that he was doing that, and he's already dropped it in the chat earlier. If you want to drop it in there again, Ryan, because I don't know if it.
Yeah, I don't think it properly linked, but yeah. Do you want
on YouTube probably? Let me see. I'll do it.
Yeah, I think I might be on the wrong account.
-campfire.com. Right?
Yes, sir. So, if you signed up last week, awesome. I'm excited to have you on board. The numbers have been phenomenal. I'm pushing 50 subscribers at this point. So, and I think I hit right at 30, like 32 last Sunday night after the announcement here. Through the week, I've just been pushing, promoting, hitting people up, and I'm at like 40-something, 47 or something like that. So right at 50. I really would like, my goal is to try to get to 100 by next Monday. And so one thing I had promised was, another book for subscribing. So if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. The next book is ready. My boy Mark has the cover. I'm sure he'll pull that up in just a moment. But the next book that's going to go out tomorrow morning to everybody that's subscribed is called Genre. It's another 15 stories that, again, they were written, one day at a time. So over 15 days, I wrote these. It was a 30-day challenge I issued myself. And so these back 15, one thing that I really noticed looking back and reading through it is like the last 15 kind of turned into like these explorations of genre. And I really wrote a lot of them are really focused on pulling something specific out of different genres. So I think these last 15 stories came out really well, because the other thing is the habit of writing and creating every day, it really inspires you, as much as you would think oh yeah, you probably start to run out of ideas. Actually, the biggest problem became containing the ideas and fitting them into a single post on Instagram. And so I think these stories are really good. I've really enjoyed writing them. And so this is kind of my gift for everybody that has signed up so far, just to really show some appreciation and, let everybody know how grateful I am for the support from the community. People have hit me up. I've been talking to people, and I'm just amazed and impressed. I've reconnected with people that, I don't know if I should say lost, but there was this person on Instagram, random person that I don't even think is really in the community, but I've been talking back and forth with a lot and stuff. This creator has their own thing called There's No Such Thing as Jason. It's like a web comic. It's really cool stuff. And then this person just disappeared probably shortly after the pandemic started from Instagram and Twitter. And I was like, man, that's weird. And then I was somebody posted on Coffee the other day, And so I went and read their post, and that popped up on the corner, that other person's name, and like, you should follow their page. And I was like, what? Like, this is cool. So like, I went over there. Sure enough, there was some current updates. And so like, I had a great conversation with this person, reconnected, found out kind of what all was going on in their life and stuff. And I've had several situations like that where doing this has reconnected me with people that, for lack of a better term, like I felt like we're lost, people I haven't really spoke to in a while. So a lot of times it's not always about the goal. Sometimes it's just the journey, and the journey I've been on with this, and this week that I've launched it, has just been incredible. It's reconnected me with a lot of people. And so I'm grateful for the support. I'm excited to send this book out tomorrow morning. And, I also have a video here. This is kind of like the first teaser for what will be dropping next Monday. And that kind of information is going to be included in the email that goes out tomorrow morning to everybody that's subscribed. So you definitely want to be subscribed at cosmic-campfire.com, so you get all of that information whenever it comes out tomorrow morning. But at the end of the day, like, Mark, why don't you show that video? I think it's kind of going to, give you a little bit of an indication where things are headed next.
So there's the cover.
Yeah, that's the cover for Genre. That book is going to be dropping tomorrow morning for everybody that subscribes. So go check it out, subscribe, and I'm excited for what's going to come out on next Monday as well. And I'll be kind of updating throughout the week and dropping some more hints as to what you can expect there. That's the table of contents for Genre. So there's 15 books in there. There's some really cool stuff in there that I really love that I wrote, and I'm excited for everybody to get to check it all out. So make sure you subscribe.
So what I thought was absolutely fascinating. So I went on there, I hit the subscribe thing. Like whenever I hit an email or anything, it says put in your email. That's all it asks. And I hit that, and obviously your email auto populates. So that's all it took. And then that first one dropped, and I went and hit in my email. It's like, where would you want to read it? And I read through Google Books. Wherever you read, the options are on there, and it just went straight over. So I'm literally reading it on Google Books, like where I'm turning pages and stuff. So it's on the familiar platform. It sits there for whenever I want to go to it and read it. You don't have to go into a website to go find it, to look it up. It's just in the convenient reading library, digital library of your choice. I thought that was an awesome touch that you did not make apparent originally.
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh yeah.
You have to read this, but no, you're not just scrolling up and zooming in. You're just super smooth.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about the platform I went with here. It's built off of Substack, and what I like about Substack is like the robust way it's built. So like, it allows people that want your content but don't want to subscribe to another platform or website or service or whatever. You can hit reply on the emails you get from me. Whenever I send out those emails, they go to your email address. You can see them in your inbox, and you can like and comment and stuff as if it's like a forum or a social media platform. I'm pretty sure in those instances you do have to like create your own account kind of thing, but you can just hit reply on those emails, and those are sent back to me, to my personal inbox, So that was a big part of how I was trying to put everything together, was like, how can I get people to want my content on a platform that gives me the capabilities I want without requiring them to sign up for something else? And then, of course, I found another service that kind of offered the same thing so that I could provide those books digitally. And that way you can import them into Amazon Kindle. You can read them through Google Books. I think even Apple Books, it goes into there if you're one of those iPhone people. So, yeah, I mean, I would love it if you sign up. It would mean the world to me, and I'm trying to be as user-friendly with it all as I can. So I think it works for everybody.
Boom, got a super sticker super chat from Dale for that member for 8 months. I don't know if those show up on the StreamYard end that I'm on right now. I said, hit that join button to be a part of the Legion. # We're Legioning through those channel emojis. Appreciate that, Dale. It shows up on the YouTube end. Those little milestones. You get free super chats and stuff when you go like certain milestones and stuff. That's pretty cool. Who could resist that fuzzy face? That's right, Louis.
I'm gonna have to
I mean,
grow it all out more.
It's hard to resist it, but then when you put it inside the orange circle, it's irresistible.
That's it. Then
Yeah.
signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah. Well, real quick, guys, were there any books that y'all wanted to go over tonight other than World's Finest? I mean, I really got nothing. Like Chris mentioned, the part 2 of the Banner of War thing was.
Things happened, and some
Look, they hit
things-
There's
you.
a hammer. There's a
They
guy
hit you
with
with
a
a
ball.
$5.99 price
blonde
tag just to
beard.
put some like reprint stuff in the back for no reason whatsoever. The Banner of War. The only thing that's important to know out of the whole issue was the fact that Hulk doesn't know where he is. Like Banner's lost control of the starship. Oh God, I hate even saying these words out loud. Banner's lost control of the starship part of it. It's just pure raging Hulk, but he doesn't know that he's not just inside of his own head raging. He's just raging. Okay, I said it. It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's funny, like legitimately, for everyone who's watching, it's funny how this is nominated for Best Ongoing Series, but somehow under the creative hands of someone else has turned into what Mark's talked about in less than 7 months. 7 months is all it's taken.
Now I will say there was a cool little part with Iron Man where you have like the whole Avengers that got wrecked numerous times by Hulk during the Immortal run. They're sitting there trying to find him. Since he left at the end of Immortal Hulk, since the first issue of this run, the Inception Hulk, exactly. But, they're trying to find him, and Tony's like telling him, "I found him. He's out here in this arena that's built on the hand of the dead Celestial. It's like a battle arena that people in the cosmos use. Blah blah blah. It's out in an unknown sector of the galaxy." And Reed's like, "Oh, that's impressive. How'd you find him?" He's like, "I've got satellites in deep space calling back to me," and blah blah blah. And they picked up on a noise. That's right, a noise in space. It sounds so loud that it actually shattered the satellite. It was a scream from the Hulk. You're like, "Oh wow, that's crazy." And he's like, and the scream simply said Hulk smash. And Reed's like embarrassed that he doesn't know how Tony has this kind of technology. He's like, "Oh, that's crazy." He's like, "No, I'm kidding. I have no idea how to do any of that. Thor's Raven told me where the Hulk is." And he's like, "What, a raven?" And then you turn to the next panel and Spider-Man's just sitting there with actual ravens on him. I thought that was pretty funny. Tony went into this long 2-page explanation about how he's got all this technology out there and this whole Hulk screamed so loud that it actually went through space and shattered. No, the Ravens told me. There's Ravens right there. Like, oh my God. He totally got me. As the reader, Kate's got me with that. Like, legit got me. I'm like, dude, I was completely soaked into that story with Hulk screaming, "Hulk smash!" Like, oh man, I thought that was pretty cool. It only takes a few minutes to take it down.
So if anything, they're not moving quick enough with that.
Yeah.
Maybe Hulk is no longer immortal, so now he is socially distancing himself to avoid COVID. That could be it. And see, here's an inconsistency. Like I was talking about this in a Hulk group on Facebook chat. He's immortal no more, per Donnie Cates, per the cat tagline to the actual the run starting. But in Banner of War Alpha, the one shot that kicked off this event that this is part 2 of, they actually accidentally called him immortal again. So now everyone in there is debating it. I'm like, oh God, I'm just getting away from the conversation. He is, he isn't. He is, he isn't. What is going on, Hoarder's Hide? Is this the place we're supposed to say mean things about Burke? That's actually on Burke's channel. And typically when he's live. Steve announced that he's going to be doing a reading of negative comments. And Scott jokingly said, "Should I go leave you a comment, Scott?" And leave you a comment, Steve. And Steve said, "Oh, don't worry, your comments are already on the list." And Scott, I wasn't even trying. The immortal spaceship. I honestly, with how they described Hulk being haunted, and you know that Thor's hammer is now haunted by Odin's Ghost. It's turned into the haunted cosmic boat versus the enchanted toolbox. That's what we're dealing with here. It's kind of out there, man. This would all be fine as a what if, one issue, one shot kind of thing, where you could just explain and tell all this in an intro narration box or something, just to get a good little fight out of it. Just, I don't know. It's unfortunate.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's sad.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, man. Like Immortal Hulk built on the mythos that he's immortal by introducing us to the Green Door, giving us context of events that happened in the past, kind of explaining how he's come and gone over the years and through the writer's hand. The Green Door is what makes Hulk immortal. The ability that when he dies, he doesn't go. I mean, it's comic books. There's different afterlives in comic books. Gamma characters go to the place below all. And in the place below all, they have access to a green door to return from. The green door is shut. It's shut right now until somebody comes and writes it back open. So he's not immortal, which is fine. He doesn't have to be.
She-Hulk is, though.
She-Hulk's not either. She-Hulk was. They did that one shot where since they introduced that concept and it was not limited to Banner, they allowed her to die. They didn't allow. She had died previously in that Avengers run, like at the hands of Thanos. So they addressed that. Like, since Immortal Hulk has addressed that all these Gamma characters, because you have Sasquatch in there, you've got Doc Samson in there, you've got Banner in there, you got Rick Jones in there. So what about She-Hulk? So they used that one shot to address that and brought her through as immortal. But the green door is closed. It's not just closed to Banner, like the actual green door that they all use. It's the same door. It got messed with. It got manipulated with. At one point, you had Green Hulk with the red veins, where it was like an amalgam of both. Like it was rough. It was awesome. Like if you enjoy the Hulk, or you miss the Hulk, or you think you might like the Hulk, just go read Immortal Hulk.
Yeah,
like, that's it. That's it.
And I see Rob saying, sounds almost as bad as Nick Spencer. No, this is worse.
That's funny that Pop says this, because the opening pages of Banner of War Alpha is the Watcher sitting there in the arena, literally eating popcorn, making goofy Disney jokes. So, yeah, he's actually watching it. So, boo. Comic Tom said, all right, next comment.
Yeah, we don't go there.
DC, yeah, I can't speculate on someone else speculating, to be honest with you, man. I don't sell comics nor watch. Keep in mind, when DC left Diamond was also at the start of Future State. So there was also, that was DC left Diamond in the middle of the pandemic shakeup. That's when they shrank down their catalog and their staff. DC wasn't even putting out a 50% of their catalog when they went from there. They built it up from there, though. But I don't do Comic Tom talk. Not my thing.
Yeah. You also have to remember everybody else has also left Diamond since then.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a million other things that have happened. So if it was such bad business, nobody else would have followed.
We did Grimm last week. Stephanie Phillips Grimm. That was the young girl that was carrying a drunk driver who passed away from a car accident over the River Styx, and he was having a hard time dealing with the fact that he had recently died. And when she dropped him off at a little bit of a way station, if you will, for his soul to be determined, i.e., where Beetlejuice ended up in the end of the movie,
the waiting room, yeah,
right. And this guy
did he get a ticket?
Right, and this guy actually gets a numbered ticket and looks at the ticket, whatever, and unknowns to her that he steals her. What is it again, Ryan? The Reapers have that
scythe.
That's it. Thank you, scythe. He steals the scythe, which enables him to attempt to go back to the modern world to see what his ex-girlfriend, what she's up to, and in the end, he doesn't like what he sees, as she's moved on and has a young man in her apartment. Anyways, the girl that's this new Reaper grabs a couple of her other Reaper friends and catches up with this guy with this soul, and to get her scythe back. And when she screams at this guy for stealing her scythe and grabs her scythe back, she actually gets she somehow has manifested into our plane and gets grabbed by a New York City policeman, to which the other two Reapers that are her friends are left being stunned that somehow this Reaper, she is visible to our plane, and that's where it ends. It's an interesting read. I'm going to pick up issue 2. I don't know that much about Stephanie Phillips, but issue number 1 was pretty good. Pretty good. Boom Studios did that book, by the way. And speaking of Boom Studios, let's talk about the brand new arc for House of Slaughter.
Yeah.
So the last arc, I know a lot of people didn't enjoy it. I thought it was just okay. But with issue number 6, we begin a brand new arc inside of a brand new room and brand new characters within the House of Slaughter.
Real quick, I do want to ask a couple clarifying questions before you go down this. Is this going to end up being an anthology book?
I wouldn't call it anthology. It does seem to the timeline that this arc begins on is the same timeline that we're following currently in Something Is Killing the Children.
That was going to be my second question.
So I think they might move from room to room, mask to mask.
Okay, cool.
And so where we are right now is they're focusing in on the Crimson Room featuring the Red Masks, and it starts off with this brand new character named Edwin, who has an eidetic. How do you pronounce that word?
Eidetic.
Thank you. Eidetic memory, right? So like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, and not a photographic memory, but eidetic memory. And it starts off with him losing a chess match to a 10-year-old who has no arms, but also wears a crimson mask. Yeah, well, you have to read the book. Come on, Mark. How do you think? He's just moving his face, moving it with his face.
Oh.
But behind the mask, so it's fascinating to watch.
Just bumping it, knocking him over.
Boom, like check.
It definitely doesn't sound as smoothly played as that Tom King chess issue.
Well, it's
of,
not
the Human Target.
It's not as good as Boosh introducing himself in Ultra Mega.
Boosh.
However, we get to discover a little bit about Edwin himself. Edwin is basically a custodian for the entire House of Slaughter, creating history books as things go along. He still has legs. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys want to see? You guys want to see what he actually looks like? I'll tell. So basically, Edwin is a custodian for the House of Slaughter, writing down current events as they become history for all the monster hunters in the entire house. That's Edwin in the red mask taking a kid in a white mask, and the kid ends up smoking him. And so the story goes forward. The leader of the Scarlet Room approaches Edwin and says, "You're doing a terrific job, and I appreciate your love of history. However, I have a job for you to do." And Edwin's response is, "I'm not a monster hunter. I am not trained." Although we get to see that he does eventually. We get to learn that he does have a totem. I'll get into that. The one thing that Edwin does on the side that he loves is painting. With that being said, the leader of the Red Room tasks him to go to Lake Michigan, where there's been a body found in Lake Michigan at a campground, a children's campground, where the eyes are missing from this body. There's also been events in and around that same campground where things have been affecting eyes. We've had pink eye. Someone's lost an eye. Someone's been hit in the eye. There's been a lot of damages.
Well, you get pink eye, right, Chris?
Right. Yes. Yes. A lot of damage done around the orbital bone. And because all these things are happening to children, the leader of the Red Room is afraid that somehow this will start to become folklore and then eventually and that folklore will eventually develop into a monster. That's something that we learned about within the last arc of Something is Killing the Children, and how monsters are made. Probably the second last arc of Something is Killing the Children. And so he gets tasked to go to this cabin. Yeah.
Yes.
Using someone else's pillow between their legs. You shouldn't be sleeping on those. People's body pillows are not meant for your face. That's how you avoid pink eye. It's an interesting story because you get to see, once he arrives at Michigan, how he tries to blend in and get information from this campground is by standing on the shoreline of where this body was found a little while ago and begin to paint. And as he's painting, his totem is actually his paintbrush and starts to speak back to him.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was an interesting take on how each person in the House of Slaughter has their totem, because somewhere along the way, Edwin has earned his teeth on his mask. So somewhere along the line, he's defeated a monster of sorts. We haven't gone into his origin that much, other than, like I said, he seems to be a custodian of.
What? Michigan? That's Michigan.
Dirty old Lake Michigan. No one cares. But yeah, he's basically been sent there on recon to find out the folklore on what's happening with all these young people having damage done to their eyes, and trying to prevent that from turning into something larger, and which in turn that develops into a monster. He does touch base and starts to begin talking with one of the campers, and this camper is one of those that, like I mentioned, had lost an eye. And Edwin says to him, as this young boy is looking at Edwin's paintings, where do you come up, or the camper says, where do you come up with your ideas for painting? And he says, well, I close my eyes and then I paint what I see. And the camper says, well, what do you mean? And then Edwin says, well, close your eyes. Oh, pardon me, close your eye. That actually happens in the comic book. And so this young boy closes his eyes, and it's dark for a couple different panels. And then that one panel from this young boy, we get to see what he starts to manifest. And that is, of course, the eyes of the monsters we're used to from Something is Killing the Children.
So what places this issue in the same timeline?
So,
not necessarily the same timeline, but the same time frame of the primary series.
Right. So when the leader of the Scarlet Room sends Edwin off to Michigan, Edwin kind of says, that's not what I generally do. And he gets cut off by the Scarlet Leader and says, I know that we're short on hunters right now, as some of them are out trying to find Erica, who has gone AWOL.
There you go.
And so it just with that little word bubble, it ties it into that. Now we're dealing with current events.
Does this house seem to be as sadistic and psycho as the first person from the house that we were introduced to in the last issue of Something is Killing the Children, who was killing the monsters and the families and manipulating and toying with their bodies and sewing them into positions and stuff? That's not
that person is actually from a house in Europe. This is still the House of Slaughter based in Chicago. So I know what you're talking about. The lady that was
this is just a different room, not a different house here. She had a red mask as well.
Right, but she's based in Europe. Remember that one that's being sent over to find Erica. This is still the House of Slaughter in Chicago, different room, the Scarlet Room.
Gotcha.
Whereas Erica wears a black mask and is in the black room.
Okay, well, I think that I'm still going to keep up with this one via you.
Okay, it's off to a good start. He's an interesting character. He also was bullied a little bit, but only by someone that seems to be of a higher ranking than him. But he does stand up to that person and say, "I have earned my teeth," basically shutting her down. Not the same way that, whereas the last character in the last arc, Aaron, was literally picked on every which way he turned by someone else within his same clan. So I'm going to give it a go. Like I said, it's off to a good start. The whole totem actually being a paintbrush, I find fascinating, but we'll move forward from there.
Brian, what did you read this week that stood out to you?
Let's see. That stood out to me. Haha. Yeah, I was gonna say Savage Avengers. It was an interesting read for me because I read it based on the writer that took it over, David Pepos. It was exciting to see him pick up his first like big 2 project, and so I read it, and like I think my perspective on it is simply that like I know of all of these characters. I don't think I've ever read a single thing about any of them. And so for me, like it was kind of a shallow issue in the sense that there wasn't like a lot of depth necessarily to what's going on, but it was a lot of fun from that perspective as well. So you have like Conan as kind of the main character there that comes into conflict with, I guess it's Deathlock. They refer to him as a Deathlock.
Cyborg?
Deathlock. Yep.
Yeah. And so those two are locked in battle, and then the rest of the characters kind of like come into conflict with each other and then kind of realize like, hey, there's something else going on that we should be involved in, a part of, And so they arrive on the scene and kind of help Conan reverse course, and then they get dropped into wherever he's from, Iberian, something like that.
Yeah,
Iberia.
Yeah.
So he's back home, and at the end of the issue, that's where Cliff hangs. The characters you get introduced to are the Black Knight and Weapon H.
Weapon H.
They get locked in combat in like outside of a diner or a bar or whatever. Cloak and Dagger, they pop up on the scene, and then isn't there 2 other characters in there?
Cloak and Dagger, Daredevil.
Oh yeah,
and
Anti-Venom.
Anti-Venom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they all come in and help Conan out, and then they end up in getting dropped into that place, Iberia.
So it just basically starts off we're talking about Conan is lost in time kind of thing, but he's making do with where he is. However, he still wants to go home, even though he's gained some riches and some friends. And that's when Deathlock shows up saying that Conan is guilty of time crimes and timeline crimes, and Deathlock is here to resolve Conan. And the battle ensues. It almost looks like they're almost like Conan's about to take down this cult-like event that's happening, and that's when Deathlock shows up, and things go sideways for Conan there, and Conan cuts off Deathlock's human arm, but it quickly regenerates. And that's when Conan kind of realizes that he might be in trouble. And then one by one, everyone shows up till finally Cloak and Dagger shows up. When that happens, that's when Deathlock begins to start to lose, because every time a new character is dropped in, like Weapon H or Black Knight or everyone else, Deathlock still seems to have the upper hand. And Deathlock, realizing that he can't overtake this group when Cloak and Dagger has shown up, especially Dagger. He time travels away from where they were, but as that happens, they all get sucked into that vortex, and they all end up somewhere. And the tail end of the book says, as soon as the wind blows, Conan knows exactly where he is, and that he's finally reached home. But
Is
now
it
we
Luther
had
Manning Deathlock? Is it the OG Deathlock, or is it just one of many at this point?
To me, it just seemed he refers to himself as a member of the army of Deathlock.
Yeah, I remember I think it was the Free Comic Book Day last year where they teased that like the Avengers stuff coming. How there's just hundreds of them. It's just like having Ultrons at this point and having Deathlocks.
Yeah, that's why I said I assumed that he was Deathlock, because I've heard of that character name. But every time that they say his name in the book, they refer to him as a Deathlock. So, it's never really specific as like, this is Deathlock. I was like, I don't know if this is that character I've heard the name of, but it seems like they're more like just like a group of time cops or something. I thought it was like a really good like first issue again, because I've never read anything by any of these characters, and like it does a really great job of like, one, the issue is like 85, 90% action. Like
Yeah.
there is no real downtime to it, but it jumps from character to character and gives you exactly enough information to let you know what you need to know about that character to get into it, right? So like the Black Knight, they cut to him and he's inside of a bar like drinking. He has his helm like sitting there on the bar and he's kind of like lamenting how his daughter has become she carries the weight of his family curse or whatever, blah blah blah. And you see the reflection of his daughter in the armor in the bar, like in the top of the bar, because it's all slick where the bartender just wiped it down. And so you're like, boom, okay, I got it. And then like Weapon H is outside and he's just like kind of doing his own thing. And then
Gets held up.
yeah, this guy like tries to hold him up by knife point. And so like he pops some claws, and he's about to take him down. And then
Goes all
the Black
Gamma
Knight
on
is
him.
like looks out the window from the bar. He's like, oh wait, what's going on here? Like time for me to save the day. And like takes off out the door with his sword and helm and like, boom, you're in the action. Cloak and Dagger, they show up there. Anti-Venom, it starts when you cut to him, like he's basically like, hey, investigating like the death of a couple guys. Daredevil shows up because he had called her because he's like, I knew this was something weird with Hell's Kitchen. I know that's your territory. You know it. She's like, yeah. And then they're like, man, something's weird though. There's a strange energy. And so like, they just like pop up on Conan, because Deathlock showed up. So they sense like the shift in energy in the area, And so like, it's just like boom, boom, boom. It's like driving. It gives you everything you need to know to like bring these characters together. And then they get dropped into Hyboria. And it was a really good first issue for somebody like me that knows of these characters but doesn't really know anything about them.
Talking about Conan, a lawyer.
Oh, yeah. It said Conan refers to it as a Hyborian time. It doesn't necessarily say we're back in Hyboria or whatever. He just says a Hyborian time. So, but it does seem like they have traveled way back. So,
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah,
Now,
his caption is we're in a place that I never thought I would see again. I'm back home. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on about Conan right now. Whether or not he's allowed to have his own solo title with Marvel, or if he's allowed to be used in team books, or if he's completely done with, or if Marvel's completely done with this current license, we'll see. Everyone seems to have a different take on it.
Yeah. But yeah, I picked it up because I like Pepos. I took a gander because I like all the stuff he's done before. And, I wasn't disappointed. It was a cool book. It was real fast paced. And, there was no real weight to anything because it was all just like set up for whatever this little mini series is going to be. So it's still, still waiting to kind of see what it becomes from here. But I thought it was a really good first issue, again, for somebody that didn't know anything about these characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll pick up number 2 just to see where it goes from here and
Is
what
this issue
Conan's
1?
crimes are. Yeah, this was issue 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll see. I'm curious what his crimes were for Deathlock to decide to continue or to battle everybody that shows up. Yeah.
That's where the Ablaze run comes in. Like I don't think you were here. I did read that between last Sunday and this. I actually read it earlier today. Finally, part 3 of Hour of the Dragon. I really enjoy the Ablaze Conan stuff. This was a very strong issue too.
Taylor.
I'll pick up number 2 and put it right back down. Got any other ones you want to hit on tonight, or anything else you want to touch on?
You said you read Duo, right?
Oh yeah. I read
What'd
Duo.
you think of it?
It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was just okay. It was interesting.
Man, I tell you, like the end of it, whenever they reveal that homeboy that turned them down for funding, like, and he like opens the door and there's just like a bunch of other stuff. And it's like, okay, there's a universe here. Literally the most interesting part of that book.
With the god, they looked like almost a pantheon of gods up in the sky.
Yeah. I was like, okay, so there's a lot more to this universe, but like it was about as like generic and worn out as anything I've ever read. For one thing,
that real quick, because I'll forget. That's the other book I read digitally was the Shadow War one shot.
Yeah. Yeah, so like Duo, it reminds me a lot of Dr. Mirage from Valiant. And so like, stop me if you've ever heard this before. Two scientists in search of funding for their project where they've invented nanobots that can heal anything are struggling to get funding. And so they want to implant their own nanobots in themselves so that they can prove that the technology works. And then they go to get funding. Homeboy turns them down. He's like, no, we're not going to do that. But then he sends his own minions into their home while they're sleeping at night to try to take the nanobots, and then things go sideways and they get the nanobots in them, and then they are all confused because basically one character gets fused into the mind of another character and is stuck on another plane of existence. And then the person that turned them down for funding and that was going to steal their technology through his henchmen reveals that like he's part of like this pantheon of gods sort of thing, or a henchman of their higher council or something to that effect.
Started that synopsis was Big Hero 6.
Yeah. Like everything in that book was so generic. I was like, you have to be, I think this is what's going to happen next. Turn the page. Oh yeah, that is exactly what's going to happen next. Like this is about as generic as it comes. And then he opens the door at the end and there's like all the like pantheon of people or gods or whatever they are. And I was like, the rest of this book was not worth hooking me with that, but like I do kind of want to see what it becomes, but I also kind of don't care. So who knows? It depends on how many books come out whenever number 2 does. Because if it's like 3 other books, then I'll probably have time to read it. Otherwise, I'm probably going to forget it exists.
And I read that Batman Shadow War one shot that they did. It was just like 4 short stories. One was with Black Canary, one was with Harley, one was with Ghostmaker, Chris, and one was with someone else. I forget, Talia. So it was all right. It was just kind of letting you know where these people are during these events, because I'm sure they're going to be showing up in a bigger capacity as we get toward the climax of the event. But it has been solid. Like Johnny Boy said, it's definitely been enjoyable. It's not too big, it's not too small, and it's not bad.
Johnny Boy.
Okay, dipping out, guys. About to play some Fortnite with the stepson. He's been asking me to game with him for a while now. Take it easy, have a good night, and have fun. Let him win. Or just completely dominate him. Trash
Of course,
talk.
I don't know if that's how Fortnite
Before he
works.
even hits the ground.
I don't know how Fortnite works. I'm supposed to know.
Johnny Boy talked about the 1 in 25 for Joker coming. And
Yeah, I was about
said yeah, I got it right here. He is absolutely correct. The Gillum March cover. My word. That is some good cover right there.
Talk about little hands.
Right?
But whenever I see Bane now, I always hear the voice actor that does him on the Harley Quinn adult cartoon show.
Oh, they can't get him a chair. He just wants a chair.
I want you more, your henchman. Yeah.
Oh, I love that show, man. I can't wait for it to come back. They were so quick to get us seasons 2 and 3 back to back, and now we've been waiting forever for the next one.
Yeah,
Still need to finish more of that.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think I'm about ready to cut it here. We started early, so let's keep it in this like between hour and a half, 2 hour time frame here. And to be honest with you guys, I just want to hop off here and get to bed on time. This was my off weekend, so I tend to end up staying up later than I want to on these nights, and it makes for a rough Monday. And I've got a new employee that I just hired that I have to train tomorrow in the midst of all the other stuff I have to do. I need him a rest.
There's before we go, there's one more variant cover for Joker 15. As most of you know, I think the best Batman story ever written is The Killing Joke, and Brian Boland is doing this cover, and I think it's a modern take, and that is pretty damn cool right there.
It's Bolland, like Holland.
Boland.
No, sir. For the guy, I lean into Chris to get words right. He's really good at getting names like Kari Andrews, Kari like Atari and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Brian Bolland does the same thing. He says Bolland like Holland.
Does he? Okay.
He does. But that was a cool cover, just a modern take of it with a modern camera.
Yeah, cell phone instead of that. Pentax.
Yeah, he said substitute the camera for an iPad. Absolutely. But I do appreciate everybody hopping on and hanging out with us tonight. And Chris mentioned it earlier, hopefully. But if he didn't, I'll mention it for him again. He is doing his 700 subscriber live celebration this Tuesday at 7:30 real time. Be there. He's got tons of stuff that he's throwing back out to the community. What is going on, Coco? Catching us right at the tail end here. And yeah, big shout out, congratulations to Chris. And if y'all haven't already, it's still pinned in the comment section. Ryan's cosmic-campfire.com. Hit that link, check it out. There's some good stuff going on. Pumping out content again. Happy to see that fuzzy face in the orange circle. And tomorrow I have my very first ever Hot Toys purchase. I got a Hot Toy. I'm doing a video.
I so
review
want
of
to
it.
spoil it, but it's so cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tug on my heartstrings.
I'm not big on spoiling things ahead of time, so we're just going to have to you have to wait and watch the video tomorrow. If you are a channel member with early access, the video was available to you. Since we've been live tonight, I did take it off of early access and set it to premiere tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. But yeah, I'm seeing Top Gun Maverick early. Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that myself. My wife's pumped to see it too. All right, but yeah, we're going to end it right there, guys. Thank y'all so much. And if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up on your way out. And I hope you all have a good night. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.